Hello everyone, the science department at Greenwood College School wanted to make sure that our science students felt very comfortable working with the microscope. So we prepared a video to show the proper form. When you get your microscope for the first time and you're carrying it to your desk, you want to make sure that you're carrying it safely with two hands, one on the arm and one on the base. When you arrived at your desk to be able to begin to get set up, you need to remove the desk cover. Carefully unwind the electrical cord around the base of the microscope. Make sure when you plug it in that there is no tripping hazards or things that are going to possibly disrupt the placement of your microscope on your desk. And make sure that it has been actually put away properly. The proper form to receive your microscope is the stage all the way down, and it's on the low power objective. Once you know that this is exactly how your microscope should begin, then you can get your slide. When you look at your slide, you might even be able to see some items on it that you want to be able to focus on. So if you know that it's that part of the slide you'd like to work on, please place that over the opening in the stage. Secure your slide with stage clips, and then you're ready to turn it on. At this position of the stage, there's no way that you'd be able to focus on a small specimen that's on your slide. So you need to make sure you raise the stage. To do that safely, you're using the coarse adjustment knob. You're bringing the knob, you're turning it towards yourself, and you're going to look to the side to make sure that there is proper clearance. At that point there, you're as close as possible, but that's okay because you're on the low power objective. Now it's time to look through the eyepiece to see what you have on the slide and how to best focus it using a combination of your coarse and your fine adjustment knob. I'm looking at Protus and I'm trying to find a really great amoeba to show you. I realize there's one nicely on the low power, but it's not in the center of the field of view. So I'm just going to move my slide to make sure that my specimen that I want to study further is in the center of view. I have it at the center of the view, and my pointer to be able to identify that should I want my teacher to help me out is also right in line, and my specimen's at the tip of the point of view. I now want to be able to see it more closely, so I want to go to medium power. The only way to do this safely and to build good habit is you look to the side and you carefully use the revolving nose piece to rotate it to the medium power objective. You'll feel a click in place and you know you've done that properly. Now look through the eyepiece to see if you need to do any fine focusing adjustment. So far it looks great, and my specimen is still in the center of the field of view. You may notice that going from low to medium that you might have had a little bit of a dimness happening with your field of view. If that's the case, please don't forget to use the diaphragm, the wheel right here that controls the amount of light entering the stage. Right now I'm fine, so I don't need to use the diaphragm to bring more light in when I go to when I went to medium power, but I may need to use that when I go to high power. I love to be able to see my amoeba even closer, so I'm going to turn to high power. This is the most important critical stage to keep your microscope safe and also not to damage any of our commercially prepared slides or any of the glass slides that you might make of your own. You need to know that at this point here, you are not going to use a coarse adjustment knob until you return to medium or low power. So when you look to the side, be very careful that as that objective turns around, there is sufficient clearance to be able to have it on the high power. Some microscope slides are so thick that you're not able to bring it around, even if you had hoped to be able to see it. So you need to make sure you check. Once you know that you've done that and you know you cannot touch the coarse adjustment knob, you can then look through the eyepiece and only use the fine adjustment knob. Beautiful. Now if I want to make sure that I try to draw it, I'll know that I've got my specimen in clear view on high power. And high power, the objective is 40 times as written on the side of the objective lens. But it's not just this lens that I'm looking at the microscope, my specimen of. I'm looking at it through the eyepiece. And all of our microscopes have a magnification eyepiece of 10 times. So it's a product of the eyepiece and the objective lens for my total magnification. And that total magnification under high power would be 400 times. That's a lot to be able to see that amoeba close up. Still looks great, and I want to be able to draw it now. After I've drawn it, or if I've had to ask questions from my teacher, I then want to properly put it away. If I'm doing that and I know I cannot touch the coarse adjustment knob under high power, I need to use my revolving nose piece and slowly return it back to medium and then back to low, click that into place. I still don't want to take my slide off because that's not the most amount of room that I have to be able to remove it. So then I lower the stage, and then I can carefully and safely take my slide off and put it in a place that's not going to get knocked off my desk. I've got my stage clips properly still on the stage. I've got my light off, but because these are incandescent bulbs, they do warm up a bit. So I may need to wait a bit before I take my cord and gently wrap it around the base of the microscope again. We know that we're returning it properly for the next person. The stage is all the way down. It's on the low power objective. I will have my cord safely wrapped around the base, and I'll put my dust cover back on. And that's how you use a microscope properly at Greenwood College School. Thanks for listening.